Now, the one thing that I really have to give John and Dave a lot of credit for is the fact that they are not only cherry-picking from Star Wars Legends and taking a lot of key moments that George Lucas approved over 20 plus years ago, and exactly how that's being incorporated into the current Disney canon moving forward. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, of course, we know that John and Dave are trying to find a balance between using Legends and using new material and how they can coexist in Star Wars, right? And that's probably the healthiest thing to do at the end of the day. You know, I know that a lot of fans, especially hardcore ones, would like the Legends to be done in a very accurate way, 100%. I understand that. But they're shifting things around because, let's face it, characters like Ahsoka exist, Ezra Bridger, Sabine, Wren, you name it. Characters that were not even in existence, by the way, during Star Wars Legends. So they gotta kind of shift things around a little bit and making new and Legends coexist in a very well-balanced manner. And I think that they're doing it perfectly with the addition of Thrawn, with the addition of course, the new Beyond coming into the Ahsoka series, and more. However, this is where things begin to get a little bit more complicated, and when it comes to sequel trilogy lore, and exactly what John and Dave recently were able to talk about, specifically Favreau, I guess you could say, what he was able to talk about when it comes to the character of Rey, and what's planned for the future canon material of that character, and how it does allude to what we have been talking about for a very long time now. So, with that being said, with actress Daisy Ridley already having multiple conversations with John and Dave about her return to Star Wars as a reformed version of Rey, under their creative control. However, in a recent interview with Jon Favreau, he was eventually questioned about his thoughts on Rey and the concept of Rey Skywalker. Favreau went on to state the following to the fandom. When I first saw The Rise of Skywalker, I thought the ending needed a lot more work. It needed a more exciting climax. I can confirm that myself and Dave are working on shifting around some of the current canon with the Rey character, and what her backstory will be like, and how that relates to her new bloodline revelations that we are going to explore. I can't really say anything beyond that I just said, but I have met up with both JJ and Ryan, and we came to an agreement and we got the okay from Disney of really exploring different aspects of this character. Now, of course, I want to just pause here for a second. Now, we already know that John and Dave are on a roll when it comes to establishing some new Star Wars lore that we have never seen before, and bringing in Legends concepts that never really got to see the light of day in live action, right? And I respect them for that, I really do. I mean, when you look at John and Dave, these guys really just know how the fans operate, how they think, what they want to see, you know, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. You want to respect the fans, and Marvel was doing that for quite a long time. They got a little bit off track with Phase 4, I will be honest, but Phase 5 is looking up, and Jon Favreau is going to be even more involved with Phase 5 and Star Wars, so he's going to be a very busy man. Now, the thing about this too, that really needs to be, you know, really kind of forward by Favreau and Filoni is accuracy, right? If you're going to have Legends material coexisting with new material, the Legends lore has to be accurate in isolation, alright? And what I mean by that is, for example, if you're bringing back a specific character, like we talked about how they are developing Kyle Katarn to come into play. It's one of Luke Skywalker's best adult students that eventually becomes a regular Jedi Knight. Kyle Katarn, bringing him into the equation, it's best to really model him exactly how he was in Legends from Jedi Outcast. And I think that they're going to do stuff like that. They're going to be very accurate in detail and design. Moving on to the next big thing, of course, is exactly what's going on with their development of Rey, changing from Rey Skywalker to Rey Kenobi, and exactly how that's going to happen. So, It's pretty exciting, he says, actually. I have no comment on if I have been in talks with Daisy or not. Separate from what Favreau stated, however, this all alludes to the most recent change for Rey that will be applied in an upcoming post-Episode 9 series that is set to make Rey Skywalker into holding a new name as Rey Solana Kenobi, and having a bloodline mixture of both Palpatine and Kenobi. Jon and Dave are also giving her a real name, known as Kira, and making a canon that Rey was just an alias. A lot of this will be referenced in an upcoming book, first by the end of 2023, in a new visual dictionary for the entire sequel trilogy before the post-Episode 9 series drops on Disney Plus by 2025. Now, again, it's all about exploring the roadmap. Jon and Dave are making sure that the shows are going to be very expansive, very quality-driven, and very much in tune with Legends lore. And that's all that matters to them. They just want to make sure that what they are doing is going to be remembered for years upon years. When you look at a show like the Kenobi series or Boba Fett by Joby Harold and stuff like that, and how Robert Rodriguez was directing a lot of Boba Fett, I really wonder how well remembered are those shows really going to be 10 years from now? And the first thought that comes into your mind is probably the most accurate one, and the answer probably is not quite as much at all compared to the movies, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact of how we did not have a lot of passionate creators involved in both of those shows. Now granted, Jon and Dave, yes, they did do the Book of Boba Fett, but the flip side to that coin is that Robert Rodriguez had a lot of creative control, so did Kathleen Kennedy, over that show. Jon and Dave did not have full power over that series. They were not able to call the shots on any of it for the most part, really. And so I think that's why the show is heavily lacking in creativity and in suspense. The things that I do like about the Book of Boba Fett, let's be honest here, are the cameos. And I know how cheap that sounds, but it really was the best part of that show. And it really makes you wonder to yourself, why did they have to do it in that way? Well, I think that Jon and Dave knew there needed to be more than just Boba Fett, meandering around and doing stuff on Tatooine, right? There had to be some cutaways to boost the level of fan interest. And the best analogy I can give you right now is that what Jon Favreau is doing with Star Wars is like what they did with Marvel. For example, Captain America Civil War, it's not a movie about Captain America. It was a movie about multiple characters. You had Iron Man in there, you had Spider-Man, you had Falcon, you had Black Panther. Basically, that's what The Mandalorian is becoming. It's called The Mandalorian, but it's not just about The Mandalorian. It's very much like Captain America Civil War and all of the other Marvel installments out there. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.